So y'all rented some cranes, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty cool, too.
That's the most fun a tree climber can have with his clothes on.
I'm sure.
Crane work.
I'm sure. That's awesome. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Man, we got some go-getters here. We have the company Fellow Tree here. We have the CEO founder Adrian. We have the jack of all trades and Caleb and Devon.
Yep.
Devon. So I did that brain. So really, you started the company in 2017, correct?
That's correct.
And how did you find these guys?
Well, I think
Just lucky, I guess, right?
lucky,
off
and we
Craigslist.
found each other when I needed most help, and I think that was in 2018 when we started working together, me and Caleb.
I think so.
So
Late
we did
2018.
we did a job like close to my house, to one of my neighbors. This is basically kind of like how I started my business with getting phone calls from the neighbors, and I didn't have any help that day, and I was looking for somebody, and Caleb responded to my ad, and we've been working together since. So
Nice. And how'd Devon get in the mix?
well, Devon got in the mix with some unfortunate events that we had, going on with our business. And I think it was last year, kind of like in the spring, beginning of the summer, we started having some issues with our machines, with our trucks, and with the chipper, with our skid steer. And at that time, we didn't know what it was, but it turned out that we were getting bad diesel from one of the gas stations that was close to me. So that's where we were fueling, and our trucks were messed up. We had to take into mechanics, and we didn't have anything to work with. And I was calling Devon to come and help us too. And back then,
Crank these cars back up.
yeah. They all had to be flushed out, and we didn't have any substantial damage, but sure enough, we couldn't finish our jobs, and Devon came to rescue. He saved the day many
Did it.
times.
He's
Cool.
a
Yeah,
hero.
last year. So he's been working with us since then, and we're really thankful for.
That's
his
awesome.
skills.
Let me rewind it a little bit and go back to 2017. So you started the business because some of your neighbors were having like fallen trees, or they wanted trees cut down. Why didn't they call somebody else? Why did they come to you?
Yeah, well, they come to me. That's a good
Because
question.
Fellow Tree
So-
hadn't been started.
No, it hasn't been started. And the real story behind Fellow Tree is that I actually wanted to start a microgreens business. And I wanted to build a greenhouse in my backyard and have all that set up, a garden, and all that. I had a lot of trees in my backyard. I didn't have any other place to go, and I decided that, hey, I have to do something about this. I talked with some tree guys, and they gave me the quotes. I had way too many trees. I was like, I cannot afford this. And I'm kind of like a do-it-myself kind of guy. But then when I started looking into this, I had about 80 feet tall trees, pine trees in my backyard, and I was like, how the heck am I going to do this? And for some reason, I just stuck with it. What I did was in 2017 in the spring, I went to a tree climbing class to Tree Climbers International. Actually, I'm wearing one of their hoodies today. But I did their tree worker class.
Cool.
So we took a few days to go through that. And hey, Peter, if you're listening to this podcast, many thanks to you. He's a great guy.
Saved your life many times, right?
Exactly.
He's probably saved a lot of lives, right?
Right. So, and I'm glad that I got to do that because, like I said, I didn't have any experience doing any tree work before I started this. Peter showed me all the ropes, basically.
Yeah.
How to climb, how to set up ropes, how to, use carabiners, what kind of, equipment you need, what do you do in a situation like this, how do you approach climbing, and all of that.
And were you just taking this class right now just for your backyard?
Just for my backyard.
So that's the idea right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn to climb trees just for my backyard.
Just for my backyard.
Right,
my
I
reasoning
love it.
back then, I was like, I was telling my wife, I was like, how am I going to, justify this? And I was telling her, hey, I'm going to do this project. All right, I invested over $2,000 just the class. And then I had to buy my equipment, chainsaws and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to sell my equipment after this and get some of the money back and, put back into my microgreens business. Well, it turned out that after I did my yard, that's when my neighbors started calling me, and they were like, hey, we have a tree here too, because my neighborhood is pretty woodsy. And that's when I, was like starting to figure out, okay, I could do some work for people.
How'd you learn how to price it? Because I bet even with your climbing class, the equipment that you bought, especially at first, you probably didn't buy like crazy amounts of equipment. It was probably still cheaper than that quote.
Right.
I mean, that quote that you probably got was probably 10,000 or more if it's the amount of trees that I think it is.
Right. So it was cheaper, but the amount of time that I put into it, of course, gave me that experience. And I didn't have to, beg any tree services to go work for them. And, for a while, I just kind of like stuck my head in the sand. And I'm glad I did that because, I didn't pick up some of the bad habits that some of the tree services have. And they just let their tree workers do whatever, handling ropes, rigging and cutting and doing all that. So I wanted to do it the right way. But anyway, back to your question, how I learned to price things. It's still a process. Like, with tree services, it's like you can never. It's not like you're selling, Monster or soft drink. It's like, it's going to be $3.99. How much are these things?
$4 or something.
Right.
Yeah, these are actually too. The Red Bulls are the ones that are still expensive.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but still, you're taking. There's a lot of variables. If I buy a Monster at the BP and it's $1.99, and then I buy it at Quick Trip and it's $1.50, I'm still getting the same can of Monster. But when you hire a service, whether it be tree cutting or HVAC or whatever, you're not getting the same thing because you're getting a different piece of expertise from somebody. Yeah, so it's what's your time's worth, how well you do what you do. So it's just, there's a lot of variables. You're not getting the same thing.
Yeah.
Even if it's little parts that you're not getting, you're still not getting the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much, the same thing with pricing tree jobs. When I started doing more jobs, I was like, okay, I have to figure in the price of my insurance, the price of my equipment, how I'm going to haul this, wood off, all of that. And then, of course, the difficulty of the trees, the access. So it's different trees have different prices. They're never the same unless you can just like simply drop it and haul it off, which would be an easy job. Those are, pretty standard, but if you have to climb it, you have to take into consideration a lot of other factors, like how close are they to buildings, to, cables, wires, power lines, sprinklers, pools, or, anything like that. Yeah,
if it's in a field where it can't hit anything, that's a different price than it's right beside a house and a pool.
Right.
For sure.
That's a hard thing to explain to the customer, too. When we go there and we're doing the estimate, we're trying to explain these things, and they're like, well, I got that one taken out for X amount of dollars. Why can't you price me the same on this tree? Well, it's more work. It's more labor. It's more time involved. So.
Location.
That's it. So, when are you the only one that does the pricing, or do you price too? Everybody
we all do it. Yeah. So, there are times when Devon does the estimates, and pretty much we're trying to do the estimates by the area of town that we live in. So I do most of the estimates in the Kennesaw, Ackworth area. Caleb is in Dallas, Powder Springs area. It's easier for him to get there and just to, if we have any customers in that area.
Yeah, Canton, Roswell, Alpharetta, around that area is where I am.
So when you cut the last tree in your yard, in 2017, right when it fell, were you like, I'm going to do this for a living? When did you decide to make the jump? Like, hey, I did this because I wanted to save a little money, and you obviously have an inquiring mind. You wanted to learn.
Yeah.
But When did you decide, hey, this is my business now?
Yeah. I still have one more pine tree in my backyard.
I
The lone pine.
well, it's lucky for you. I know somebody that can cut it. Yeah.
Right. I don't think there was a decisive factor. I think there was just one thing after the other. I think the purchase of the equipment that was making my job easier, kept pushing me going a little bit further and further. Because first time I got an old chipper, and that was by the time that Caleb just joined me, and that was like tree guys, they know this. It's a chuck and duck kind of chipper. I don't even know what year that was from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they manufactured that engine like so long ago. It was still working. It was a diesel. I was able to do.
It was from New York. Like 6 bodies have been through there.
Possibly,
Yeah.
at least, right. So, and then I was like, I need to pay this off.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, I sold that one, and then I got a slightly better chipper that pushed me through the next year, and but then it was a little bit more than that. I think the motivation right now is that I have a crew behind, and I just need to make sure that all the guys have work,
Yep.
and they have a paycheck, and they and besides, it's like, I think one thing that I want to keep going is that I think our crew is special from any other crews that I've seen. We enjoy doing this. We're really passionate about it. And we like to push ourselves in, getting better and better with
Sure.
everything that we do in this, aspect of our business.
When the first 5 years of business, it's a special relationship with 1 of 1 employee, 2 of 2 employee, 3 of 3, and you keep them, and sometimes you lose a couple people, but that nucleus, if you go into year 10 and those people are still there, that just means way more to you as a business owner, because they've been through all the ups and downs. Those first 5 years it's tough.
Right.
So you got to keep grinding, and you need people to help. You can't do it by yourself.
Right.
So, Caleb, when you joined him, why did you join Adrian?
Well, I was on my own at the time. I was doing, little jobs, just trimming, small removal, just on my own. I had my climbing gear, a chainsaw in my truck, and I would always go on Craigslist and look on the gigs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then somebody would have, hey, I need a tree cut down. They'd list their price. I'd go look at it. I'm like, okay, I agree with your price, whatever. Or I'd give them a different quote. But I saw Adrian's post. I can't remember exactly what it was. I just needed some work for that weekend, or I think it was on a Friday. But clicked on the post. He replied. We met up the next day, and I climbed a tree. He climbed a tree, and that's it.
Is there still a lot of business to be gotten from Craigslist and the tree cutting world?
I wouldn't say so.
No.
I mean, I was just
Craigslist used to be so big, though. I remember I have a client that's still a client of mine. It was a doctor, and she's in Stone Mountain, and I put on Craigslist a credit card processing terminal for like $300, and she called me, and she was like, "Can you do it for $250?" And this is a doctor calling me. Like, doctors don't really call. And it wasn't like a small practice. She has like 2 locations, one in Buckhead and one in over in Stone Mountain. So it was wild that she called me. I was like, I'll give it to you for free if you give me the credit card processing business. She's like, well, I need 3. I was like, I'll give you all 3 of them for free if you do that. But that was back in the day, and I guess it probably doesn't work like that anymore. But that's what I was wanting to know is it still a viable way to get business?
It's just spam now.
Is it?
That's all it is, in my opinion.
I mean, I haven't been on Craigslist for a while to look for gigs, jobs. When I started, I was doing the same thing that Caleb does, just because a lot of I think the folks that are asking people to come and take their trees down are probably looking for the bottom dollar. But right now, a lot of times I just cannot justify. We have a minimum that we charge. Every time we show up, it's about $350. And if I go any lower than that, I cannot justify bringing equipment worth of like $100,000 plus. Parking in the front house, taking a little tree or a little,
I would
branch.
say insurance alone, you can't do it for less than $500. I mean, just insurance alone in that business is brutal.
Right.
It is brutal. I mean, a lot of people don't understand how much that workman's comp costs for businesses like roofers and tree cut companies. 'Cause it's dangerous. People die lots of people die every year from falling off roofs or getting hit by a tree. So the reason insurance is expensive is because it's dangerous and people lose their lives. So
Exactly.
I can understand why you don't want to go out to a house or a job for a certain amount of money. I mean, it's not worth it. It's not worth it for your guys either.
Yeah.
So, Devon, what when you met Adrian, what brought you to him?
I met Adrian at what was called a tree stuff party, which is kind of where climbers get together and they try different gear. Treestuff.com is one of like the major sellers and retailers of tree stuff gear and stuff like that. And I really kind of hit it off with Adrian. One of the first people that I walked up to and introduced myself and whatnot. I just come back to Georgia from being in Ohio, and he just impressed me with the way he climbed. I mean, kind of like he said, he went about the right way of learning how to do tree work. A lot of us learn how to do climbing and cutting because we show up to a tree company and we start watching somebody. We have an apprenticeship. There's like
I think the guy that taught me was drunk.
Like,
I really do think the guy that taught me when I was 18 to climb trees was drunk.
I'm sure he probably was.
You know what I mean?
That's par for the course
19,
back then.
1998. So yes, you did do it right, but I think the guy was either high or drunk.
I had an old foreman that would just shout at me from the ground. Do this, cut your hands off the tree, all that.
That's right.
I was really impressed with that, and kind of what I've done in every industry I've been in. I tried to stay on the latest and greatest stuff. I mean, you want to know your craft, you want to know your career, because all three of us in the room consider this our career.
Sure.
So we're going to do what's going to advance and what's the best gear out there, what's the best way of climbing. There's a difference between what used to be moving rope system versus stationary rope system. For us old guys, it's single rope technique and double rope technique, and those people that don't like advance through that are kind of in the stone age with that. So
Yeah, they're missing out.
yeah, definitely. But
You've been in this game for a while, though, right?
I have. I've done a lot of jobs, but like you were talking about doing storm work earlier. I started in 2004 when Hurricane Katrina hit, and it was just a need for the crew that I was on to have somebody to do the trees, and it was just something I was like, I think I can do that, but thinking you can do that and then getting up there and doing it, you realize, okay, there's a little more to this than just walking up the tree, and then you gotta know how to cut it, you gotta know where to hang the rope and how to rig it and make it go where you want to go.
Not die.
Yeah. That's
safe.
the biggest one for us.
Stay alive.
What is that? So you did get some business off Craigslist. What is your? How are you getting business now? Is it all networking, word of mouth?
When I started, so Craigslist was one of the main avenues, and then I think I got an account with Home Advisor, which we still have that account, and we got quite a few customers that way. We started getting a little bit of traction there, a few reviews, and I think after that we started building our Google presence online. We got a website and started working on that. And I would say, pretty shortly, we got, pretty high in the rankings of Google. A lot of the customers that we had, they were, pretty impressed with the kind of work that we did. And at that time, I was like, okay, this is just kind of like how I do things, because I didn't know any better. I was like, I didn't know any tree service that do work. So for me, that was just the norm, but more and more I kept hearing from people that, hey, I really like how you guys cleaned up, or, how you guys did this rigging, or, different other things that you were punctual. You actually showed up for first place.
So important in that service industry too. Nobody does that.
No.
Right. And then they don't call you when they're not. That's right. I think that's the most important thing as a consumer is, if I'm getting something built at my house or done at my house, if you can't make it, call me and reschedule or do something. If you can do that, you'll get business just because of that.
Yeah. Right. So we're getting a lot of that, in the reviews. And even though we're a fairly young business, just 4 years old, I think we've gotten some of the most reviews of any of the tree businesses in our areas. We're all 70 plus 5-star reviews on Google.
Do you push that with your clients? Hey, will you please leave a review? Do y'all do it?
You know,
we're
happy,
I would for sure.
Just to ask our customers, hey, we appreciate your honest review because we want to know where to improve, what we did good.
Yep,
that's always helpful because the things that the customer perceives as being done good, we don't always see that.
Yeah,
and.
Because it's little to you, but it's big to them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's all perception. So it's how you leave that property is probably one of the most important things. Is are there cigarette butts all over the ground, or is there a huge hole where it's something? Is there sticks all over? I would say that would probably be the biggest thing to me. But everybody's different. Everybody sees it a little different.
Exactly. For us climbers, the biggest things that we always think on the job is like, hey, how did you drop that top? Did you come the right way, or did you rig it the right way, or how that branch, came and swung around the tree or whatever.
But consumers don't care about that.
Consumers, they're like, that's technical stuff. They're probably not going to
ego stuff.
Exactly.
See how I did that?
Yeah. So a lot of times, we work on that, but it's among ourselves. But we need that input for the customer.
For sure. I found that when I was doing that roofing, that Home Advisors was good at first, and then they started sending like oh, we're only going to give it to 2 people or 3 people, and then it was like I was like there like an hour and a half after it came in, there was 8 people before me. Is that your experience?
Pretty much, that's our experience too. And that's why it was like I was prepared for that every time I was going to bid a job. I would say that probably 1 in 20 customers would be like, hey, I read the reviews online, and even though you're not the cheapest quote that I've got, I will go with you, because you guys are wearing PPE, protective equipment and helmets, and take care of, the little stuff that I ask you about. But just very few. And the thing with Home Advisor is, the bottom dollar gets the job. So.
That's an awful race to the bottom, though. I'd be like, sorry, can't do it.
Yeah.
But I think we've really kind of, even within the last year that I've been with you guys, a little over a year, we've kind of moved to a different tier of that, whether we started at Home Advisor, but now we're getting leads that are stronger than that, and
where they come from, just
straight
customers,
through Google, or we've started using Yelp.
I started using Yelp, and we're getting quite a few customers calling us from there. There's something about Yelp too to be said. So good, strong leads always have to fight to get the customer's information, and Yelp works great for restaurants and stuff. Or other businesses, but for me to go and do an estimate, I need their information. And I just called Yelp yesterday actually, and they were telling me, well, it's privacy matter. We cannot, ask the customer to give you that information. It's a matter of privacy. But I'm like, so anyway, that's one thing not so great about Yelp, but they're bringing a lot of customers, good quality customers. Google does. Phone calls from like word of mouth, and then networking. We were members of BNI, and Marietta Business Association has been sending some business to us, and I find that this local groups are helping us grow, quite a bit. Just consistently.
For sure. In my mind, if the lead comes in, the most important thing is getting back to that lead. Well, if you can answer it live, that's what you want. But that's obviously with a small business with less than 5 employees, 10 employees, it's hard to do that because you're all working on a job. You can't answer a phone live. But getting back to them within 24 hours of that phone call is the next best thing. You have to be able to do that. It doesn't matter if, hey, I'm 6 weeks out, but I'm calling you right now and I'm going to schedule it right now. And if something happens, and I'll bump you up to 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. It's just in my brain is to get to that person as fast as possible, to have a conversation with them, and then get the estimate out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of like what I've seen too. The quicker you get to the customer, they really appreciate that. Just kind of like to get the little details of what needs to be done. Sometimes even telling them that, hey, I don't go to that area
of
town.
Sure.
But
I know a guy. Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. I know somebody that can go there, or you're just not holding the customer from getting that stuff done. And
Their
a lot of
job
people
done,
appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I said. That the biggest thing in the service industries in general is the communication could get better. And if any service industry wanted to do better, if you answer your phone, you call people back, I swear to God, they'll go with you, and they'll be loyal. They'll be loyal to you. How can we help you? How can our community help you? Yep. Who are you looking for? What kind of client you want?
Yeah, I mean, really anybody that has trees.
Yep. Is a real estate agent a good person for you?
Yes. So I would say so. I do know quite a few real estate people. I would say that property managers. Okay. Actually, one of our most consistent clients, he actually has an office here in this business complex. And actually, we've done quite a few jobs here as well. And he's been, we've got a lot of leads business from him.
Cool.
But real estate agents, and then. Yeah, what do you guys think will be the next thing?
Everybody needs a good tree man in their back pocket.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Insurance agents.
Sure.
So, yeah.
How can I get a hold of you? .com. What's your .com? What's your email address? Phone number? Tell me all that.
Yeah. So our website is Fellow Tree, www.fellowtree.com. And a good email will be fellowtree@icloud.com. Did you say phone
Kicking
number?
it to iCloud. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a Gmail address too. It's,
that would be fellowtree.ga@gmail.com.
Right.
There you go. Yep. And phone number?
That will be 803-727-4403.
What's next? How are we going to grow?
So, how are we going
I'm
to
going to buy 6 trucks.
We're trying to stay as small as possible to keep the cost low. But the next thing, we just, this week, I think we're going to bring somebody new on board, a guy that's been doing tree work for a few years now. And yesterday I met with someone that is going to start working with us, and I was just telling Devon and Caleb about it. She's going to take care of our social media platform and marketing. And I'm really excited about this because that's going to take some of the stuff off my plate to do other things. The next thing, I guess, we're looking at buying some new equipment right now, like a bigger skid steer. So yeah, you're partially right about that. Buying more stuff.
Anything that makes it more efficient and quicker, And
it's just doggone exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Buying new stuff is just exciting.
Machinery.
Yeah. Whenever you can move like a 15-foot log that is 3,000 pounds, it's.
Well, you can get those skid steers as big as you want.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Get one with it won't even fit in their backyard.
Yeah, that's our dilemma right there. We got to make sure it can still fit in the backyard and still be able to do what we need.
That's what cranes are for. We've used a crane a couple times.
Yeah, we've had a few crane jobs. Yeah.
That's the thing is with that is not just destroying grass. And it sounds stupid, but that's what my wife would care about is destroying grass. But it's hard not to when you got. Sometimes those houses are 8 feet apart, 10 feet apart, so it's hard to do that. See, I've rented some cranes, huh?
Yes,
that's pretty cool too.
That's the most fun a tree climber can have with his clothes on.
I'm sure.
Crane work.
I'm sure. That's awesome. Yeah,
it's very cool.
Yeah, because you don't have to. You're just attached to the crane, right?
When you make the cuts, they're just like lifting up like half the tree and take the whole top out, lift it over to the house, and then we take it out to the road and set it down, and then we start cutting it and piecing it apart and putting it through the chipper. So it's really, kind of like a mass production of everybody needs to know what place they need to be in and how to do it. Yeah. But
that's awesome.
Crane operator is the star of the show on that one. So.
What's your dream job? What's your dream client?
We've done so many.
I usually say this. I go, what's your pay your bill client? What is your vacation client? And what's your retirement client?
Yeah, I think the dream work is storm work for any tree workers. But Yeah, we've done so many jobs that were like so weird. We like literally had to go in the lake, fish out trees out of the lake, and people's roofs, and so I don't know.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it'd be somebody with a rational thought process. Any client like that is a dream client for that day. So,
yeah, that's true.
Someone who
That's pay your bill client. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Everything boils down to.
And we always have that one client that's like, we come in there and we've done work for them, 10 different times because they love us so much, and they tell every neighbor about us. And they're, we come in that same neighborhood and we know that Joe down the street, because that customer is like, oh yeah, Joe recommended you guys, and he just tells everybody about us. So that word of mouth, that great client that's always bringing us business and just thinks the world of us.
I really appreciate y'all being here. I'll tell you what, just by talking to you, the little I have is I know you guys have fun together, which is really, really important. You basically said that hey, I want to get along, we have fun, this is our profession. I heard that, and man, that makes the day go by fast. It makes you do better work. So if you guys out there need any tree work done, please see these guys. They've already posted all their stuff. We'll push it out too. So thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Everybody be kind to each other.